So a very good morning once again, dear students of class 9, and we once again continue with The Merchant of Venice, which we had left off after completing certain pages of Act 2 and Scene 2. So today we'll take up from where we had left off. That is on your screen. Now you can see the pages coming up, and we have page 52 and 53. We had finished up to page 51, the end of page 51 in our last video tutorial, and now we will be doing pages 52 and 53. So on your screen you can see page 52 right now, and we were in the middle of where Lancelot was playing some kind of practical joke on his old and almost half blind father, old Gobbo, who has come to town to look for Lancelot and also to meet Lancelot's master and give a gift to his master, so that Lancelot has a proper proper environment and a proper relationship with his master. So now let's see what happens. Gobbo says Lancelot is finally trying to identify himself. He's trying to give his own identity to his dad, to his father, and Gobbo is finding it difficult to believe. So Lancelot has mentioned just now, as you have seen at the end of page 51, the name of his mother, and has said that you are my father, and I am the son of Marjorie, who is your wife. So Gobbo is really surprised. Remember that Gobbo is not able to see properly, and that's the reason why he finds it difficult to believe the words of this young man whom he has met after coming to Venice. So Gobbo says here, her name is Marjorie. Indeed, I can swear that, yes, my wife's name is Marjorie. If thou be Lancelot, thou art mine own flesh and blood. If you are really Lancelot, then you are my own flesh and blood. Meaning to say that you are my son. Lord worshipped might he be. And then he praises God Almighty. He says, let the Lord be worshipped that I have found you. And then he says, what a beard hast thou got. Actually, Lancelot is kneeling before his father, and old Gobbo is touching his head, and because he cannot see properly, he thinks that he is touching his beard, he is touching the face of the man standing before him, but he is actually touching Lancelot's head, and so he thinks that Lancelot has grown a beard. And so he says, what a beard you have got. Thou hast got more hair on thy chin than Dobbin my fill horse has on his tail. You have more hair on your chin than Dobbin my fill horse. Fill horse is a cart horse. The meaning is given alongside. Always read the side notes, because whatever thing you come across which you don't know the meanings of, you can always find in the notes provided alongside. So my fill horse, or the horse which I use for pulling the cart, he has probably less hair at the end of his tail than you have a beard on your chin. So he says this. Lancelot stands up, rising. It should seem that Dobbin's tail grows backward. Well, it should seem, if that is the case, if Dobbin has less hair in his tail than I have on my chin, then it should seem that Dobbin's hair is growing backward. That means going inside the tail instead of coming out of the tail. Why? Because actually Lancelot does not have a beard. So if without having a beard somebody says you have more hair on your chin than Dobbin my fill horse has on his tail, then it must be obvious that Dobbin must have lost all the hair on his tail, otherwise it is not comparable with his chin. So this is what he means to say. I am sure he had more hair of his tail than I have on my face when I last saw him. So I am very sure that when I last saw Dobbin, when I was at home in the village, and the last time I saw that fill horse of yours, he had more hair on his tail than I have on my face. So anyway, all this is meaningless, unnecessary conversation, because this has nothing to do with the main plot of the play or the subplots of the play, but adds humor. It is only with the purpose of adding some comic relief or humor before another serious scene comes up. So this is a trick applied by William Shakespeare. So this scene between Lancelot and old Gobbo. Now Gobbo says, Lord, how art thou changed? How dost thou and thy master agree? I have brought him a present. How grieve you now? He says, oh my goodness, oh my God. Lord means, oh my God, how you have changed. You have changed a lot. So how do you get along with your master? That is, are you in good terms with your master? I have brought a present for your, or a gift for your master. So tell me, how do you get along with him? Lancelot says, well, well, but for mine own part, as I have set up my rest to run away. Well, well, as far as I am concerned, I have decided to set up my rest, meaning to say, made up my mind that I have decided to run away. I have set up my rest to run away. I have made up my mind already to run away. So you can make out what kind of relationship I have with my master. That I don't want to serve him anymore. I want to leave his job and run. So I will not rest till I have run some ground. So I will not take any rest until I have run a good distance. Run some ground means run a good distance. So that I can get away from him. Then he says, my master is a very Jew. My master is very much a Jew, meaning to say all the bad qualities or the nasty qualities that Jews have, he has in him. So that is how Christians always try to talk about Jews, and Lancelot is no exception. So as if Jew was a bad term of people who were really, really bad. So that way Lancelot puts it, and he says that he's a very Jew. Give him a present, give him a halter. You want to give him a gift? Give him a rope so that he can go and hang himself. I don't want you to give him a present. Why should you give him a gift? Instead, give him a rope. He may hang himself with it. So give him a halter. So then he says, I am famished in his service. I am starved in his service. He does not provide me with sufficient food. So though I am serving him as a servant, he doesn't give me proper food. So I am almost always starving. You may tell every finger I have with my ribs. See, Lancelot is always funny, and he mixes up finger and ribs. What he meant to say was that you may count every rib on my body with your finger. But he, while speaking it out, he says you can count every finger on my hand with your rib or with your ribs. So it's just the mix-up of what he means to say, but we need to understand. And Lancelot is a funny character, so he has to add humor. His job is to add humor. So through him, William Shakespeare, as I told you, in this particular scene is trying to provide some sort of comic relief. So, Father, I am glad you are come. Give me your present to one Master Bassanio. Father, I am very happy that you have come. Actually, Lancelot loves his father. He was pulling his leg. He was teasing him for some time, but actually he has a lot of love for his dad. So he says, you have brought a present. Well and good. Don't give it to Shylock. Rather, I would urge you to give it to Master Bassanio. It is better that if you give the present to Master Bassanio, who indeed gives rare new liveries, because he is such a nice man that he gives me very rare new clothes every now and then. So Bassanio was in the habit of flaunting his wealth and his borrowed amount, whatever he used to borrow from Antonio and never return. He used to waste and spend like anything. He used to give new dresses to servants and even to people who were of the servant class, not his own servant, maybe sometimes to outsiders also. So anyway, Lancelot has heard about it, and so he says that he gives very rare dresses, something uncommon, and new dresses to his servants. If I serve him, not him, I will run as far as God has any ground. If I don't get to serve a man like him, then I will keep running for as long as I can and for as far as God has made the land. That means the ultimate range of land that God has made on earth, I will keep running till I come to the end of that ground. Oh, rare fortune, here comes the man. And just as Lancelot is talking and praising Bassanio and is expressing his wish to serve Bassanio as a servant, after leaving Shylock's job, he wants to join Bassanio's job and he wants to serve Bassanio. And just at that very moment, when he was telling his father to give the gift to Bassanio, it's a rare case of fortune that he sees Bassanio coming that way. Here comes the man. To him, father, for I am a Jew if I serve the Jew any longer. To him, father, give the gift to him. Because I will become a Jew if I continue to serve a Jew any longer. So I don't want to serve Shylock anymore. Because if I am in his service any longer, I will also become like a Jew. In the sense, in the qualities that Shylock has, will gradually come into me also. So I don't want to work for him. So go, father, give this gift to that man. And as Lancelot is ushering his dad to go ahead and talk to Bassanio, Bassanio enters. Enter Bassanio with Leonardo and other followers. So Leonardo is another friend maybe, or maybe a subordinate, or maybe a servant, you never know. And also some other people with him. So Bassanio says, you may do so, but let it be so hasted that supper be ready at the farthest by 5 o'clock. Yes, you may do that. He's giving some instructions. So he's in the middle of the conversation. So that's why he says, yes, you may do that, telling Leonardo. But make sure of one thing, that the supper should be ready the latest by 5 o'clock. By 5 p.m., supper should be ready. See these letters delivered, put the liveries to making, and give these letters to the concerned people. He gives some letters. He says, make sure you deliver these letters and put the clothes for making, tailoring. Liveries means clothes. So whatever uniforms need to be made, arrange for the stitching of those uniforms. Give it to the tailor. And desire Gratiano to come along to my lodging. And also make sure you meet Gratiano and my friend Gratiano and tell him to come and meet me at my residence. So he gives these instructions. And a servant leaves the scene. So the servant has been given the instructions. Now Lancelot, once the servant is gone, takes this as an opportunity and he's telling his father, Lancelot, to him, father, come on, dad, to him, give it to him. So Gobbo approaches Bassanio and speaks to Bassanio. God bless your worship. This was a very common way of respectable form of greetings. So he says, God bless your worship. Bassanio says, gramercy, which is an exclamation. You can see the meaning explained alongside gramercy. An exclamation denoting thanks from the French word grand and mercy. That means, thank you very much. What is thou ought with me? What would you want from me? Do you want anything from me? Ought means anything. A-U-G-H-T, ought means anything. O-U-G-H-T, ought means should. Don't get confused. The two spellings are different by one alphabet. O-U-G-H-T, ought, and A-U-G-H-T, ought. A-U-G-H-T, ought is an old English word or an archaic word. It's a biblical word, you could say. Not used commonly except in literature and in the Bible. But this is an old play, 400 years old, so naturally here it is used. So, wouldest thou ought with me? Would you want anything from me? Do you want anything from me? Gobbo says, here's my son, sir, a poor boy. Gobbo wants to talk about Lancelot. Here is my son, sir. He's a poor fellow. He's a poor boy. Lancelot says. Now, Lancelot again creates nonsense here because he will not let his father speak properly. Lancelot says, not a poor boy, sir, but the rich Jew's man. I am not a poor boy actually. I am the servant of, man means servant in this case. I am the servant of the rich Jew Shylock. That would, sir, as my father shall specify, and I would, that would means that person in concern, that is meaning to say he himself, as my father will tell you what I want. Gobbo says, he hath a great infection, sir, as one would say, to serve. Now here, Gobbo, he is also not an educated person, and just like Lancelot, so also his father, he misuses the word infection. He says wrong, well, the meaning is again explained alongside. Wrong word used by Gobbo for affliction, or rather affection and desire. Not affliction, affection, which means desire. So he has a great desire, sir, as one would say, to serve. Lancelot, indeed, the short and the long is, I serve the Jew and have a desire as my father shall specify. Indeed, yes, exactly. That is what I mean to say, that to put matters in short, the long and the short is, meaning to say, to sum it up or to put the matter in short, I serve as a servant, I serve Shylock the Jew, but I have a desire which my father will tell you. Gobbo says, his master and he, saving your worship's reverence, are scarce cater cousins. Meaning to say that, they don't get along well. Cater cousins means good friends. So they are hardly cater cousins, or they are hardly good friends. He and his master, these two, they don't get along well. Lancelot says, to be brief, the very truth is that the Jew, having done me wrong, doth cause me, as my father being, I hope, an old man, shall fructify unto you. So, to be brief, the truth of the matter is that the Jew has always been doing wrong to me, and my father here, as an old man, he will fructify to you. Again, you can see the reference, again he misuses the word bear fruit, word used wrongly to mean notify. He should have said notify, but he says fructify. So my father will notify you, or my father will tell you that the Jew has been doing wrong to me, and so I don't want to serve him any longer. So what he is coming to finally is that he wants to say that his father will tell Bassanio that Lancelot wants to join the service of Bassanio. So with that we come to the end of the second page also, that is page 53. So we have just finished with pages 52 and 53 of the Act 2, Scene 2 of The Merchant of Venice. So we'll stop here for the day and we'll continue again in our next video tutorial. Until then, thank you very much.